Welcome to the Author's Corner Review, brought to you by KNEO Radio 91.7 FM. I'm Roberta Foster, and today I'm going to be sharing with you fiction from Bethany House from a variety of different styles. The first one is kind of a contemporary story, and it's includes podcasting, so you know it's a relatively recent themed. The book is called The Rules of Falling for You, written by Molly Rushmeyer, and as mentioned, it's a Bethany House publication. Well, she thought she knew the rules of love. Turns out love makes its own. The perfect match can't be far, certainly not at a Regency-themed singles retreat, or so podcaster Zoe Dufour believes. After years of creating content for her relationship podcast, inspired by Regency etiquette and era-appropriate rules for romance, she knows her listeners have anticipated this retreat. But she also attends with expectations of her own, finding the ideal modern-day gentleman who can meet every one of the non-negotiables on her checklist. Harrison Lundquist, Zoe's podcast producer and best friend's brother, reluctantly agrees to tag along on the retreat to capture footage while seeking a career-advancing promotion. He views the retreat as ridiculous, and Zoe's methods for finding her real-life Mr. Darcy? Downright absurd. But as he films her whirlwind dates, his growing feelings for her are sidelined by suitors vying for her attention. When Zoe realizes her checklist for the man of her dreams might be holding her back, she must decide if she's willing to rewrite her rules and take a chance on the person who has been there all along. The writing is smart and sassy, with humor and touching moments, sure to please lovers of rom-coms, Regency romance, or Jane Austen period dramas, a quote from Julie Klassen, a best-selling author. Now here's a little bit about Molly. She writes whimsical romance with heart and humor. She has a deep and abiding love for all things British, bookish, and filled with history and mystery. A modern girl herself, she wouldn't want to go a day without modern plumbing and central air. She's always felt a special connection to the past. Her debut novel, The Bookshop of Secrets, was a finalist for a 2023 Carol Award. A born and bred Midwestern gal, Molly makes her home in Minnesota with her husband and two spunky, beautiful daughters. And you can find out more by visiting her website, Molly, that's Mollie, initial J, Rushmeyer, RushMeyer.com. The next book is Riches Beyond Measure. It's from the Golden State Treasures series. This is book 3 and written by Mary Connolly. And when an earthquake strikes Two Hearts Ranch, it shakes the life of Annie Lane, along with that of Cord Westbrook, who has been working as a cowboy on Annie's family ranch in anticipation of purchasing his own. The only thing delaying his plan is the deep attraction he feels toward Annie, a widow with a child and an established life as a teacher at the Hart School for Orphans. Unfortunately for Cord, she seems determined to avoid romance. The aftermath of the earthquake reveals that prized artifacts from the long-sought Mackenzie's treasure have been stolen from the ranch. But the return of the Mackenzie family from out east has everyone focused on what other precious finds might be waiting at the end of the legendary two-part map. As Cord, Annie, and the Mackenzies set out in search of riches, they face dangers more treacherous than earthquakes. With gold in their sights and love within reach, Cord and Annie realize that some treasures may fade, but life's true riches are far more valuable than earthly goods. And here's a little bit about Mary. Mary Connolly writes romantic comedies about cowboys. She's the author of The Brothers in Arms, Brides of Hope Mountain, High Sierra Sweethearts, and many others. Mary has been nominated for a Christie Award, with a finalist for a Rita Award, and is a 2-time winner of the Carol Award. She lives in eastern Nebraska with her own romantic cowboy hero. They have 4 grown daughters and 7 precious grandchildren. You can learn more about Mary and her books at maryconnolly.com. And now we have At Morning's Light, a novel by Lorraine Snelling with Kirsty Guerin. Maya Bredson and her husband plan to journey from Norway to a new life at her cousin's boarding house in America. But on one last fateful fishing trip, a fierce winter storm steals away her husband. With her dreams for the future crushed, Maya is left grieving on the voyage to Iowa, accompanied instead by her brother, who plans to finish his seminary degree. Arriving at a boarding house spilling over with orphans and a newly married couple, Maya struggles to find her place amid the chaos. A new friendship develops between her and Eben Miller, the reserved, kind farmer next door. But just as Maya begins to recover from her wounded heart, more tragedy engulfs her. As she and Eben weather trials together, can they overcome the difficulties this new land holds when it seems so far from becoming home? The author Lorraine Snelling is the award-winning author of more than 100 books, fiction and nonfiction, for adults and young adults. Her books have sold more than 5 million copies, and she makes her home in California. You can learn more at Lorraine, that's Lauraine, LorraineSnelling.com. And that's A Morning's Light. Our next book is biblical fiction, and it is written by Angela Hunt, called Rescued Heart, the Story of Sarah. This is from the series The Matriarchs, and it's book 1. In Ur of the Chaldeans, Ishka faces the daunting prospect of marrying Abram, a man she has never met, and who renames her Sarai on their wedding day. Their union, arranged since childhood, tests her as she grapples with uncertainty about her future and Abram's character, including his devotion to an unseen God, entirely unlike the idols she has worshipped all her life. When Abram reveals that Adonai has directed him to leave the family, Sarai chooses to trust him and follow his God, even though she's not sure Adonai can make them a great nation. As the years pass without conceiving a child, Sarai wrestles with doubt and faith within her marriage. Her skepticism that their descendants will, quote, outnumber the stars, unquote, grows with time. It will take nothing short of a miracle to prove Adonai's faithfulness to his promise. And that's Rescued Heart by Angela Hunt. And so let's recap the books that I've shared with you, all published by Bethany House, a division of Baker Publishing Group. The last book was by Angela Hunt, called Rescued Heart, the Story of Sarah. It's book 1 from the Matriarchs series. At Morning's Light by Lorraine Snelling with Kirsty Giron. Riches Beyond Measure from the Golden State Treasure series, book 3 by Mary Connolly. And The Rules of Falling for You by Molly Rushmeyer. And all of these books, Bethany House Publishers. So if you'd like more information on any of these books, we encourage you to visit Bethany House Publishers. This has been Roberta Foster with your Author's Corner Review. Join me again next time on KNEO 91.7 FM, The Word.